Spine. We're going to do this one together. From a bigger picture sense, your brain will only give power to your lower body if it feels the spine is good. It's not going to get hurt. But do we ever really exercise the spine or challenge it to hold our position, our spine in position? We probably don't. So, here's a whole bunch of exercises that you can do. Some people would call this core. I'm not calling it core. It's not core. This is some Franz Bosch stuff. Water bags, you can use balls, anything that you want. But we are going to challenge, can all of my spinal muscles, paraspinals, erectors, all those, can they hold my spine in place when there is movement? Because if something bends funny, I'm not going to run very well. I'm not going to allow myself to get hurt. So we took a water bag, you're kneeling down, you're going to keep this all straight from your knee to your ear. And we're going to twist. Now the water moving around in there is going to challenge the spine so it finds neutral because the water is constantly moving.
Key is making sure the hips don't twist, right?
The hips don't twist and you don't buckle here. This has got to stay up. This is, now I've dumped it off to somewhere else. I want to be here while I'm twisting.
How heavy is the water bag?
5 pounds. There's not much water in there. I have found I made a mistake of buying the big water bags, which I never use, because they're just too big. Similar concept, but with a spin, and you will see people who've got messed up cross crawl patterns because they won't turn into the bag, they'll turn with the bag. We'll go 2s and 3s. People will also move the bag but not rotate shoulders, so the progression is to start here and point your elbows at where you're going, and then from there you can start to move out, move away from the center, so it becomes more challenging, then you can add a water bag. That's actually doing 2 things. You're trying to find your body neutral, but it's also teaching your body how to wind to create power. Here's the fun ones that are really frustrating because they look really easy to do, but they're hard. So she is up against the wall. She's got about 1 foot length, maybe a little bit more, between the wall and her foot. You can use anything, a plate. Just on this day we had a water bag. This is the really advanced one, screw this up. So she's twisting and then pressing away. What we are doing and what we are focusing on is that when she goes to twist, she is extending her spine. In all of these spinal exercises, the key is you are pushing away, you're pushing your head away from your tailbone. Can you get long and challenge the spine? Here she is with just normal twists. If you watch from the front, you will see people have a give. Like if they have one side that's off, you will literally see their body cave on one side. It's the same person that you see run when they hit, you see their arm come away. Their arm isn't actually coming away. That's their spine not having the stability to hold it in place, and it gives. It creates a sway in their spine. To add, no, it's not. To add your hamstring into it. She has 1 foot on the wall, and this is the leg doing all the work. And how do we want our hamstring to work? We actually want the spine to create a twist or torsion that will create extra kick through the hamstring. It's actually a really hard exercise. That one gets tiring. More spinal stuff. How many people do some kind of hurdle walkthroughs? How many people do some kind of hopping in place where you're bringing up one leg, something like this? Here's the cheat. I call it Ichabod Crane, which my kids don't get because they don't know the legend of Sleepy Hollow. Nobody watches those TV shows anymore. But remember Ichabod Crane, when he was walking around, he'd be like this. When people do hurdles, higher hurdle walkthroughs, or I call them can-cans you're jumping over, watch how many people have bob. They're getting rid of the slack in their system by bobbing their head forward. But can I do a lot in this head forward position? I can't. I lose a lot of power. So what we do is when we're going through hurdles or any type of hopping exercise, we try to extend our spine. And I always watch from the side because I'm looking for this. That's bad. I want to reach up when I'm kicking up. I think watch a really good hurdler and not so good hurdler. Watch when they go over. You see guys that are like this compared to, can't even do it, this. So you can do something simple where you're just kind of jogging in place, snap a leg. And when I bring that leg up, I'm reaching up with my head. It's a spinal exercise. I don't care what's going on down here. How many people have seen this guy every stride? It's the same thing. They don't have the rigidity in their spinal system to hold their body in place. You can easily do these things at home. Everyone has a wall. You may only have 3 walls, but you still have a wall. More spine stuff? You guys want to do these ones together? This is my son. This cost me money. You see, he's grown quite a bit since the last videos. These are elbow sits. I got these from the University of Texas. We got them from this French guy who actually came and did a spinal exercise. It's kind of like a Pilates type thing. I thought they were awesome until I messed myself up doing them because it was so hard. I thought it was easy, so I went to the hardest thing, like I always do, and messed myself up. But this one's pretty simple. You lay on your back, and this gets into the fascial lines of your body as well. So you're just going to lay in a position. He's doing a crappy job because he can't get it, even though he thinks he's so cool. Hands should go flat here. And again, you're pushing your spine away from your tailbone, and your knees are up, shoulders are down. You guys can lay down and try it if you want. It's a lot harder than it looks. It actually feels pretty good when you get up, too. I really like them.
Could you repeat the instructions again?
So you're going to lay flat.
Okay.
How many people can't get their palms? You got to be rotated around. Who can't get their hands flat? It's a fascial thing. Elbows locked.
You're reaching up.
You're pushing away.
Shoulders come off the
You
ground.
can push your shoulders up. You're pushing the ceiling away. Your hands have to be flat. Oh, shaking, a little shaking.
So how long do you hold? Just
Minute.
Your fingers point away. Doesn't matter where your fingers point away.
Once you go here, life gets hard.
And you want the head down, right, so you can lengthen as much as possible.
Yes, you're lengthening your spine. They did this with the Texas football team. Like, most of our kids can't do this.
I understand what you're doing. You're not perfect.
Some kids, they're really good kids. Here's the next one, guys. I'm going to wreck everyone here. You're going to sit Indian style. Hands go here. Reach as high as you can. Sit bone is anchoring into the ground. Head is pushing away. You're reaching up. He's laughing because I'm probably talking trash to him. You can feel your spine pull apart though, can't you? Stay there, I got one more on the floor. He can't do this one either, Mr. King Volleyball. Knees and legs together. Palms go flat. Again, he can't find it. And look at how he's bobbing his head. You've got to reach your spine tall. And then the last one is up against the wall. Feet are in, hands are back away. Again, they're fascial stretches. They actually feel great.
Each of those are a minute?
Yeah, about a minute. This is what I do in my prep period in my prep period time is I'm sitting on my floor, which is disgusting, doing my stretches.
Yeah, any of the seated variations, like that one too. I know when I think about lengthening my spine, my natural is like a rib cage.
Yep.
So are you coaching that? Are you keeping the rib cage down, but stretching the spine? I think can be, at least for me, I'm having trouble kind of
Lengthening the spine.
lengthening the spine.
So if you are popping at your rib cage, that's actually a reflex pattern that's off. If you're going to go see the reflex stuff tomorrow, there's ways to cure all these movement things because a basic reflex is off. Like your tendon guard might be off. But again, we want to teach our bodies how to create torque. So you can just press against the wall. I have gotten more bang for the buck just doing this with my athletes than a lot of the other stuff. We'll do this and build into what I just did the last thing, but I'm going to find a position that I want to be strong in, which is driving off that big toe, hip up, and I'm just going to press into the wall as hard as I can. You know, you can go for 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds, minute, not minutes too long. But you can change all those angles in your hips and your knees and your feet and just press, because how hard does the wall press back at you? As hard as you're pressing into it. So it's actually pretty hard. And you'll shake, you'll have people that can completely collapse. But again, stuff that kids can do on their own at home and not doing crazy stuff. And so we are trying to get to that. Again, studying all this torque stuff, I look at things differently, but see how he is. Now, if you lay him on the table, he has a big butt. Like if I go to reset him and I put him face down, it literally looks like someone put a 20-pound ham on his back. So look what happens when he's running though. He's all tucked in. Even his pants are starting to tuck up. But this is the torque that I want, this is the position that I want to be in and learn to press from, in that I'm coiled here, I'm coiled here, I'm coiled here, and he's coiled up here. And that's one of the things they thought Bolt had, is that he could really coil his torso and he got a lot of power because of his scoliosis. He does have one long stride, one short stride, but they think because of his scoliosis, it allowed him to wind extra and create more power because he had that bent spine. Without the scoliosis, probably wouldn't be as fast. Someone said he squats 500 pounds. His scoliosis is so bad, if you put 500 pounds on his back, he'd snap. I know. People just make stuff up. So, I have added this into all of my drills. We're going to try some of these, just so you can feel the difference. So I'm still staying with booms and all the other things that I've used, but I'm also going to work on doing those from that position. I've been doing these for about a month now with my guys, and they say it's a night and day difference. Which again, I need my old stuff kind of out of sleep. I still like this to get your hips in position in straight leg, but now I want to learn to coil, and I want to learn to explode from that position. So how you can carry that over into other things that you're doing, you can do your squats, you can do, just have your athletes practice going down, and they go to drive, load, drive, hip comes up, and come up and through. So it's going to be more of that. How does that carry over down the wall? Well, I can load my hip and put myself in all those positions, get into that anterior tilt as I'm going to drive, and learn to hold those positions. So I've done those with booms, I've done them with prime times. Prime times is crazy, because normally we've been all straight-legged. But now you're going to try and get into Chris's position here with that prime time. In fact, what kind of correlates with that is that hip extension or hip flexion research that they just did in Japan about that. The higher, we all know this, the higher your knee goes, the faster you are. But then they put in different variables about what's going on in the hips. So just being able to kick up like that isn't going to have the same kind of carryover. They actually went through and tested it 4 different ways and said 3 of these ways it's complete crap. So we want to be able to get that knee to come up from that position as we're coming through. And that's where that pelvic tilt comes in. And the more pelvic tilt I get, the higher up that knee comes. So I know it sounds strange because when we go to lift, everyone's like butt out, butt back, and all that. But you lose all the tension in your feet. Your entire fascial system collapses once you get to this position here through your shin. We don't want that. That's what we want to have really rigid and really springy. So you can do those with any of your running drills. I'm not getting rid of straight-legged stuff because I still like some of it for different reasons. But if I'm working for that, I'm going to do everything bent. Bent knee prime time, or torque booms or torque prime times. Torque sounds cool. Nobody really knows what it means. They never talk about, great, your car's got 400 horsepower, but what kind of torque is it?